The internet lit up the second Mase, and Camron decided they weren't letting Dame Dash slide, coming straight back at him and clowning his fake claims and shaky history with zero hesitation. This wasn't a random roast or some one-off joke they threw together.
Man, how you doing, man?
Chilling, man. Had a long weekend, man.
Did you? What happened?
Yeah, man. A lot of stuff, man.
Like what happened over the weekend?
Now, first, before we get into all the other stuff, we want to address the elephant in the room, and we get that out the way. So through this Fredo shit, Cam going up against me is like Fredo going up against Michael Corleone.
This felt like frustration that had been building for years, finally boiling over. Every time Dame pops up with a mic, the story gets bigger, the credit list gets longer, and the timeline starts bending in ways that don't add up. The culture noticed, and this time, Mase and Cam were not in the mood to be polite. They laughed, paused, rewound, and picked that interview apart line by line, making it crystal clear they weren't buying what was being sold. When veterans laugh instead of argue, it hits different. Laughter means disbelief, and disbelief turns into humiliation fast. What really made the moment sting was how relaxed they looked doing it. No yelling, no ranting, just sharp jokes and calm corrections. That kind of energy says, "We've heard this before." And that's exactly the problem. These weren't new claims. They were recycled stories, dusted off and repackaged like they were fresh truth. The streets respect confidence, but they can't stand repetition without receipts. When somebody keeps running the same inflated stories, people eventually stop listening and start fact-checking. That's exactly where this landed. Mase and Cam treated that interview like a comedy sketch because honestly, to them, it sounded like one. Comedy hits hardest when it's rooted in familiarity. And familiar lies are always the easiest ones to expose.
I can't even say homeboy's name confidently anymore, just based on how disappointed I am in his behavior. One of my issues with Fredo, just to pivot back, I keep saying I'm done, but I keep doing it, but these points keep coming up. Whenever you have a problem with a man, you talk to that man. You don't talk about that man, you talk to the man, especially if the man is willing to have the conversation. But this whole issue is because this dude is ducking a fair one, a verbal fair one. I'm too old to be fighting. But from what I know about Cam, that's not him. He doesn't fight. He's not a physical guy like that. Pause.
Fans felt the shift immediately. This wasn't playful teasing. This was a full credibility audit. They joked about titles, influence, and who really made what happen, all while making it clear that certain claims simply don't hold up. And when things don't add up in hip-hop, somebody always pulls the calculator out. The jokes landed because they were specific. Specific jokes come from lived experience, and lived experience is hard to argue against. That's why the reaction spread so fast. People weren't sharing it just to laugh. They were sharing it because it felt like the truth finally being said out loud. By the time that first wave hit, Dame Dash wasn't trending for wisdom or insight. He was trending for getting clowned. And getting clowned by people who were actually there hits different. It's not hate. It's correction wrapped in humor. That's when the embarrassment sets in quietly, not through insults, but through the slow realization that the room isn't nodding anymore. The room is laughing.
That's not the example that we want the younger generation to lead or see. If you have a problem with someone, you talk to them, period. It avoids a lot of problems. Men speak. Men, even if I know it might be a difficult conversation, you still have it. As long as people don't get overly disrespectful, especially when it's someone that you love or someone that's looked out for them, you got to give them grace. You never believe a liar when the liar calls someone else a liar. It's just like an oxymoron. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Say,
man.
yo, what the fuck?
Well, that's what bothered me. I'm like, yo, you gonna try to make my children uncomfortable to make me uncomfortable? That's what a flea does. Not a fly guy, a little nasty, disgusting, dirty flea. And that's why homeboy calls himself Flea, Fredo Flea. And, you know, that's a low-life fight.
As the clips kept circulating, the roast evolved into something way deeper because people started realizing this wasn't just about one interview. It was about a pattern. Mase and Cam weren't reacting to a single sentence. They were reacting to years of exaggerated storytelling that kept resurfacing every single time Dame got a platform. The culture started connecting dots. Same stories, same flexes, same self-positioning as the mastermind behind everything. When one person keeps claiming ownership over whole eras, whole movements, and whole successes, eventually people start asking, if that's true, why do the receipts say otherwise? And that question was hanging heavy. What made this breakdown brutal was how effortlessly Mase and Cam dismantled the entire narrative. They didn't need documents or timelines on screen. They used memory. And memory is dangerous because it's shared. When multiple people remember things differently than the story being told, the story collapses under its own weight. The laughter came from recognition. Fans recognized the gaps, recognized the stretches, recognized the moments where reality got polished a little too hard. And once that recognition hits, the damage is already done.
You never told me about you and Big L and Dame being in the car.
Well, yeah, yo, I seen that. I didn't know me, Big L, and Dame was in the car together.
And he told us right then and there that he would put himself in PC. Dad, I'm putting myself in PC. Me and Big L like, what? What? I
didn't even know that me, Big L, and Dame have ever been in the car together.
Oh, man.
You know what's great? I was going to save that for my show because I didn't want to get into this.
So we went to the side and was like, you know, afterwards we were laughing, but we were like, I was like, I will never hustle with him. He's a ball player and he does music. So I never really, he's a civilian. But you can't be saying you the best that ever did it in Harlem and you never sold drugs. And if you had to go to Ohio after you was a rapper, that's not the best that ever did it. How dare you say so?
The jokes kept landing because they were layered. On the surface, they were hilarious, but underneath, they were calling out exactly how history gets rewritten when somebody talks long enough without anyone pushing back. Pushback finally showed up, and it didn't show up angry. It showed up amused. And amusement is the most disrespectful response possible when somebody is expecting reverence. That's what made this moment feel so humiliating. Not because someone got attacked, but because the mystique just evaporated. Mystique only survives on silence, and the silence ended right here.
I didn't know that nigga was such a liar. Like, you know how your man is your man, so you probably don't be annoyed. Like that's your man. You be like, nah, you just hate us. I didn't know this nigga lied. Like,
fans also noticed how Dame's interviews constantly turn into self-celebration instead of actual reflection. Self-celebration works when it's balanced with honesty. When that balance disappears, celebration just sounds like ego. Ego invites checking. Checking invites jokes. Jokes invite viral moments. And that cycle played out perfectly. Every time Dame tried to sound bigger, Mase and Cam shrunk those claims right back down to size with one-liners that cut straight through the noise. By this point, the culture wasn't even asking if the claims were exaggerated. They were asking why the exaggeration keeps happening. Is it relevance? Is it habit? Is it believing your own press? Whatever the reason, the outcome was identical. The interview backfired. Instead of boosting his image, it invited scrutiny. And scrutiny doesn't care about feelings. Or scrutiny cares about consistency. Consistency wasn't there. And when consistency is missing, credibility takes the hit.
And you know, again, a liar calling someone else a liar that's only known for telling the truth. He himself said, I don't know you for lying, so why would I start lying now over him? We don't fold. We have a pride. We're bosses, right?
Yep.
Ha, ha, ah. Oh, you're looking like your father. And also, even down to this journey with my teeth. You see, I walk around, take pictures. I'm seeing them take pictures and videos. I'm like, what are these niggas, 7 years old?
Sorry.
As the laughter faded into real discussion, the moment opened up into a much bigger conversation about revisionist history in hip-hop, because this isn't the first time somebody tried to rewrite their own role. Hip-hop is young enough that most of the people who actually built it are still alive and still talking. That makes rewriting risky. You can't rewrite something when the witnesses are sitting right there. Mase and Cam became those witnesses in real time. They didn't deny accomplishments, they denied exaggeration. And that difference matters. Denying exaggeration protects the truth without erasing anybody's success. That's a grown move. The culture respected that approach because it didn't feel like jealousy or bitterness. It felt like exhaustion. Exhaustion from hearing the same stories told louder every single time. It's exhaustion from watching interviews transform into self-mythology. The roast landed because it felt long overdue, and overdue moments always hit harder. People had been waiting for someone to finally say, "Nah, that's not how it went." And when it finally happened, it happened through jokes that nobody could ignore.
I want to say, and I think I want to talk clearly, so I'm not going to sit here and rip my teeth all day.
It doesn't fit, and it's moving around when they're talking and chewing, so they have to stay closed. Mm-hmm.
I don't care. Call that.
He's a Stugotz. That's what we call guys like him. When you start off honorable and end up unhonorable, and you go to the other side, you a Stugotz. So that's also his new name, Stugotz, or Fredo, or Cameo. But he's a Stugotz. You've been around honor, you know honor, but you choose the other side, meant you was always on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? For real.
I do want to issue an apology, though, that without putting hands on nobody, without nobody physically getting harmed, without me doing any damage to anybody, family, or anything like that physically, that I mentally torture these niggas, man. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't know I do this to these niggas. That it goes on for months and years. That I mentally abuse you by just being me.
Another reason this hit so hard is because audiences are sharper now. They don't just consume interviews anymore. They analyze them, compare clips, and remember exactly what was said years ago. The internet keeps receipts forever. Dame's old words didn't disappear. They stacked up. And when they stopped aligning, the contradictions became the content. Mase and Cam didn't create those contradictions. They just highlighted them. And highlighting is enough. Once something gets highlighted, everybody sees it. This moment also exposed how power dynamics are shifting in real time. Titles and reputations don't automatically silence people anymore. People are more willing to question narratives even when they come from big names. That shift is uncomfortable for anyone used to unchecked authority, but it's healthy for the culture. An healthy culture self-corrects. And this was self-correction happening live. By this point, the situation wasn't really about Dame Dash anymore. It was about how often loud storytelling goes unchallenged until it simply can't be ignored. The culture learned something here. Speak confidently, but speak accurately, because confidence without accuracy eventually turns into comedy. And comedy is unforgiving when it's aimed directly at ego. In the end, this wasn't just another viral roast. It was a reminder that hip-hop keeps its own scorecard, and that scorecard gets checked publicly when stories drift too far from reality. Mase and Cam didn't destroy anyone. They stripped away the exaggeration and left the facts standing. And that's more damaging than any insult. Insults fade, but facts linger. So the humiliation came from watching confidence meet correction in real time. Correction always wins. The aftermath is what really matters now. Future interviews will be watched closer. Claims will be weighed heavier. Audiences won't just nod along anymore. They'll listen with questions. That's the real impact of moments like this. They permanently change how people receive information, and that change doesn't benefit any one person. It benefits the entire culture. A culture that values truth over hype always lasts longer. This situation also reinforced one simple lesson. You can talk yourself into relevance, but you can just as easily talk yourself into scrutiny. And once scrutiny arrives, every single word matters. Mase and Cam didn't have to yell. They let the contradictions do the work. And the contradictions spoke loud enough on their own. That's how credibility checks happen now, calmly, publicly, and with receipts floating in the background. Hip-hop has always balanced bravado with accountability. Bravado makes stars. Accountability keeps them honest. This moment leaned hard into accountability, not to cancel, but to correct. Correction is love in this culture. It keeps history straight, keeps egos grounded, and keeps the next generation from learning the wrong story. If this breakdown had you laughing, thinking, and seeing the bigger picture behind the jokes, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss the next one.